Not that I ever doubted it, however, just to show you, like, she has struck me just below the watch and on this hand, just in between the fingers and just above as well. However, like I said, it really doesn't hurt at their sort of size. You can probably hear her hissing and all that and puffing up in the background. There she goes. She's a bit inquisitive from the heat that this camera is emitting as well. However, jungles are notoriously quite aggressive, but you know, I still find them quite nice with well, this one isn't a full yellow, however still got quite a nice sort of minimalistic yellow tinge to her, which, you know, is quite nice to look at in the colourings itself. She just despises everyone, hence her name Predator, but still a beautiful snake. She'll probably obviously just be a show snake, so if I have friends or anyone over, obviously she probably won't be coming out to meet them and to be handled. I still will persist with her and basically handle her as much as I can just to get her used to it, and if she doesn't, well, so be it. At least I can say I've tried. So as you can see, you know, it does create a lot of blood. That's just because the teeth are that sharp that they create nice clean cuts, and obviously it's just takes a little bit for it to clot. So, you know, looks worse than it is. It's tiny, nothing bad. So if you're worried, I mean, put a bit of antiseptic or something on it. However, you probably don't need to. With her aggression, she's a little bit tricky to feed just because she will strike the food. However, she won't 9 times out of 10 grab it, so you just kind of got to play with it a little bit. And basically, I should probably show you with her, but what I do when handling my reps, just to, you know, if they are aggressive, you want to make slow but deliberate movements. And don't blindside them. So don't come from the back or from the side, as they will obviously see it as a bit of aggression, and they obviously will tag you. So what you try and do, you probably will still get struck with an aggressive snake, but I close my fists so there's no little, obviously, rat-sized fingers hanging around, and they'll see that as food, obviously. She probably will still strike me, but close your fist, bring it up to her, like this, place her on top. She'll do her own thing, she'll get off it if she wants, or, you know, whatever. So if you just keep doing that, and just bring it around, you'll probably get a bit of blood over her, but that's fine. Like, they'll clean themselves off when they go into their, what do you call them, the water bowls. And they soak quite often, obviously mostly coming up to when shed, but yeah, they will get in there and have a good soak just to loosen up that skin. Alright, so if you just keep doing that each day, then as you get further along, just kind of be a little bit more rough with them. Obviously don't hurt the animal, but just be, oh, she just knocked my knife off. Just be a little bit more rough, just so they can kind of get used to you handling them without really thinking about it, because that's what you want to do. You want to make her more docile and more trusting and accepting of how you move and how you hold her. My most tame one is my big one, and he goes around my neck when I clean the house quite frequently, and basically he is just placid as anything, so that's always good. But I'm just going to put her away, and then I'll grab out the big one. I'll probably have to readjust the camera just because he is a two-hand job. And yeah, I would hate to drop him or put any stress on his body from handling him with one hand. So hang on a sec, I'll be back. Just one thing before I grab out the big one. Like I said, it does create a lot of blood. So if you are about to go out, or you know you've got kids around and you obviously don't want to scare them, or you know, you're trying to get someone into reptiles and you don't want to basically put them off by showing them a lot of blood, which is natural for people to see that and then go, well, I don't want to do that, you're stupid. Then wear gloves, because they don't see it. it's a lot easier to contain the blood and all that. And it puts pressure on the wound immediately if you've got tight gloves on, so it stops it. But as you can see, it's just tiny, tiny little nicks. Like tomorrow, you'll barely even see them. But the amount of blood it does create, obviously, if you're a healthy person, it will create a bit of a waterfall of blood for quite some time. Right, so I'll grab out the big one, readjust this camera, and then yeah, you'll see him next. All right, so it's probably going to be easier for me to basically have it playing, facing his feeding tub, and then while I'm talking to you guys, basically get him out and move him over there. There's no way I'll be able to press play on the camera while I've got him in my hands. So I do use the snake hook with him, just because he is a big boy, don't want to scare him, and then therefore that translates into me getting tagged. He's not the biggest, obviously. A lot of people that will watch this video who have their own reps will probably see him and go, well, you know, mine's probably twice the size. That's fine. It's not a pissing comp. It's just, at the end of the day, when they're adults, they do hurt. They've got a nice bite on them, and someone his size can put a lot of pressure on your hand or your arm, not just with the bite, but with the actual, you know, the constricting on it. Once again, he's not a constrictor per se, but yeah. And you can hear them, a little bearded dragon is kind of scratching on the glass, saying hello. We'll have a look at him in a sec. Obviously, we'll wash our hands because we don't want to smell like snake and scare him. Because obviously, in the environment, in the wild, sorry, he's food for a lot of these guys. So, at the moment, I really hope you're getting this. So, he's my big boy. He's very, very, oh, sorry, shaking the camera, he's wrapping around it. Just move it over here a bit. But yeah, he's a very big boy, very heavy. You've got to be careful not to let him grab onto something or wrap around, even if he gets the slightest edge on. Their scales are very good at gripping. And yeah, they can hold on to stuff pretty tight, and it's hard to get them off without actually hurting them. So you kind of just got to let them go and just wait. So even at the moment, I don't know if you can see, he's grabbed the corner of the tub with his tail, like that. That's pretty on there. So you just kind of got to let him do the thing. Hopefully he doesn't go for the camera because he could probably swallow it. That'd make a good YouTube video, wouldn't it? So, but he is a beautiful boy. He's very old. I can't remember off the top of my head how long they live for. However, I always get the ages wrong. My missus is good for remembering those, but I think he's about, let's go with 8 years old. So he's, well, there you go. Hopefully he doesn't eat it. Okay, let's move away just in case he does. So he's about 8 years old. He's as big as he's going to get. As soon as you put him in this tub, he knows exactly what's going on. He knows that feeding time's coming soon. So once you put him in here, you don't disturb him until you actually drop that rat in there for him. Because anything else that comes in there now, he'll see it as food. Just because we've gone through the same process, you know, week in, week out. So they do know exactly what the process is. So therefore, if you change it up on them, well, how are they to know? All right, so I'll pause this video. I'll get the feeds out of the bucket, which I've got thawing, bring it in here and try and get you angled up onto each of the tubs as I feed them and show you how each of them feed. Hopefully we have, well, sort of hopefully, we have one rep that wants to be a bit of a problem feeder, so then I can actually show you what to do. That's not to say that not like 100% they're going to always eat. There will be times that they won't eat and you have to ziplock that bag, freeze it, wait for bin day, throw it in a bin and basically chalk it up as a loss. Alright, so I'll see you in a sec. Righto guys, obviously for you that was no time at all, but for me that was quite a bit of mucking around just because I had a few phone calls and all that. However, right, I think where we're up to is the food itself. So The way I do it is basically in a bucket, and in the bucket, each one of these reptile feeds has is just in a Ziploc bag, and you basically, they're rock solid, obviously frozen when you get them, and then you kind of put them in these bags, put them in some tap water that's hot, so only the hot water, obviously tap water, no boiling, nothing like that. If you use boiling for too long, you can actually cook them, and you'll make them too soft. And then when the reptile wraps around it and squeezes, obviously because they need to kill the fucking dead food, they can pop, and it just makes a mess, and it just goes everywhere. So you don't want that. What I do is obviously just, you don't know which rep is going to possibly be a problem with eating, so leave them all in the warm water. Grab one out at a time, or if it's two in a bag or whatever, obviously grab the two out. But start with that, and then feed them. Then when they're done, grab another bag out, start the whole process again. Just because if you do encounter one that's going to take a while, it's easier to keep the other foods warm. Otherwise, you're just going to compound your problem. So basically, when you grab the food, just basically, you can touch it. I used to use gloves because I heard a lot of rumours about diseases and all that. However, it doesn't really matter as long as you scrub your hands, nice hot water. And I've got some hospital grade detergent, so I just Dettol, sorry, so I use that. So basically, grab it by the tail, not the very tip; it'll just break when you go to wiggle it around. So grab it, apply a lot of pressure because you don't want it to slip out. And whack the snake and accidentally drop it on it, and then it's afraid of the food, and it's just, it's all bad. So I think it's my little dog just kind of banging on the door. So basically, put in a cage, wiggle it, mimic that it's alive. If the reptile's hungry, it should take it pretty easily. So I'll just move the camera again onto the other side where the tubs are, and then I'll kind of just continue show the actual taking of the food for each one, and then I won't actually go through showing the swallowing and all that because you can watch my other video for that. So I'll move you over in a sec, and then I'll show you how it's done. Righto guys, so I've got the lid on that container for the big one, and he's basically, he should know what's going on. He did refuse a feed, not last week but the week before. I feed him a smaller size food than he can take. Like he could take a large rabbit, however I feed him large rats, just because then I feed him weekly. He seems to cope with that better than the one larger feed which would do him for a fortnight or a month. So basically lift your lid. You guys have a good view. Alright, so he's just chilling, he knows what's going on, he'll make subtle movements. But he is obviously fully aware. They're very intelligent creatures. So try and keep your hand away from him, obviously, as much as you can. If you just kind of wiggle it a little bit, not intimidating, anything like that, he'll kind of lock on. If he's hungry, and just kind of move it away, move it over a bit. When he's ready, he'll take it. So now he'll go through the process of actually strangling, killing the food itself. So they're pretty accurate with how they strike. So that rat in the wild, no chance, it's done. So he's already gripped it just with the two parts of his body there. He hasn't wrapped around it fully, but he doesn't really need to, because in the wild that rat wouldn't be going anywhere. It'd be dead very, very quickly. So what we'll do now is I'll just put this back on here. So I'll just put his lid back on. I do stay in here and clean their enclosures whilst they're eating, just because I want them to get used to there being noises and all that whilst they're eating, because in case I'm not in here and they are eating and also there's a noise, I don't want a bit of food to go to waste. So it's always good to train them in that sense, just because, like I said, it's a lot of money, it adds up, so you don't want it to go to waste. And I don't breed my own rats, so I do buy the store bought, and it very, very quickly adds up. So I'll just move him gently, obviously. I know I said you kind of disturb them a bit, but you don't want to throw them around whilst they're eating. So I'll just put this up a bit, because obviously it's small snakes, so it's the homemade zoom in sort of aspect. Righto, so this one's obviously aggressive, so it shouldn't be a drama. Obviously, once again, grab the rat not by the tip, kind of middle-ish. Angle your hand up, so it doesn't go. It's less likely to go for your hand. Wiggle it around. Once it actually sees what's going on, bam. All right. So and with these little ones, I just grab it by the foot if you can reach it, or a bit of skin or whatever. Shake it a bit, just so they know what's going on. Once again, in the wild, that's what bitten on the back of the head. So therefore, in the wild, if it was still kicking and alive, it couldn't bite it. It's wrapped around. It's not going anywhere. I mean, the claws could probably scratch it, but it's done. So once again, I'll put the lid on. Just gently move them across, out of the way. That one, the water python, doesn't normally swallow while I'm in the room. However, once he's killed it, per se, and I'm out of the room, he will actually swallow it. Like, he doesn't just let it go. So it just, you learn all the characteristics of each of your reps, but it just takes a bit of time, and then you know what's going on. So we'll just try and find the smallest of these small rats, because that's going to go to my coastal, so not the one you're looking at the moment. So that's obviously the jungle cross carpet. So that one doesn't look like it, but can take quite a bit of food. So, like I said earlier, does a few strikes. It's a weird eater, this one. So as you can see, just kind of lunged at it and did like a bit of a unskillful strike, and now it's just playing tug of war. So I want it to wrap around. Like the water python though, this one 9 times out of 10 won't actually consume it whilst I'm in the room. So, but that's fine. It's still, still eats it. I don't think it's ever refused to feed, so that's all right. So just put the lid back on. Put this out of the way. But you still want to, where you move them, you just want to kind of keep them there. And obviously not in the way, because I'm about to clean the enclosures as well. So next up is the BHP, the black-headed python. So not the most skillful striker. I don't know if that's normal. However, it seems very, I don't know how you would say it. It's very blasé about its food, so if it gets it, it gets it. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It doesn't seem to be that phased. So it's quite fine though. If you just kind of taunt it back with the food, 9 times out of 10 it will follow. If not, you just grab it. Obviously without getting struck, one-handed, so skillfully. Come back here. You don't want to feed, eh? There we go. Alright, so back in, and then it's almost like it's a bit blind. So just grabbed, what's that, an ear? So, nah, that's not good enough, come on. So you want to toy with it, pretend it's in the wild, and there we go, it's wrapping around, and that wrap would be done. It's quite normal when they wrap around that you'll see obviously feces from the animal come out. It's normal, obviously, just all the pressure that's being applied to that feed. It's quite normal. However, the rats and mice do empty most of their bladder and bowels when they do euthanize, so it shouldn't be too much. So So it's always a good thing to just be as hygienic as possible. So if you see a lot come out, kind of just try your best to clean it up so the animal's not getting that all over it and getting infections and stuff like that. So this is a coastal. It's the one I was saying that, you know, is on the borderline between a small rat and a large mouse. So I've opted to go with the large rat. If I see it have a drama with it, then, you know, like if I ever see it have a drama with it, sorry, then I'll swap back to a large mouse. So just angle that a bit better. There you go. So there's my coastal. Can do it. Just strike it a bit and then boom, wrapped around. So very good eater. As you can see, you look for the thickest part of its body, and you normally imagine the reptile feed. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit constricted because it's going to have that muscle around it from being in the inside. But you look at the thickest part of the snake, and that's generally the size of food you should be feeding it. Don't worry about looking at the head. The jaw, I think, dislocates or pulls apart, and you know, it fits it quite well. So they're very, very skillful eaters, which is good, obviously, in the wild, that they can consume different size foods, just because obviously they don't have any hands or claws or anything like that or the ability to rip apart their food. So they have to rely on being able to consume a different variety of sizes. So at the moment they're done, they're ready to feed. So I'll show you my bearded dragon and his enclosure, because he's a little bit active at the moment. I do need to fill up his water bowl, and then we'll move on to actually cleaning one of the cages. I'll just pick the dirtiest one I can find. We'll go through sanitising it, cleaning it, and just basically preparing it for when they have finished swallowing their food. You give them probably about half hour, 40 minutes. You can leave them an hour or two, and then put them back in their enclosure just so they don't stress. They're used to that area and they can digest their meal, not feel threatened, and then not regurgitate it. Righto, so I'll just move you over. We'll hold the camera, and I'll actually show you the bearded dragon. So obviously it's cleaning day, so any of my cages, you know, don't leave hate comments. It's normal for an animal to soil their container and their enclosure, and basically, yeah, you're not going to clean it every day. So where's the little sticky thing going? These keep falling off. So, whoops. Or you just use this. So, alright. So at the moment I am using my GoPro and just linked it to my phone, so because I don't have a what do you call them? LCD backpack or whatever it is. So yeah, at the moment that's my bearded dragon. Beautiful boy. You can actually tell because at the base of the tail they've got this, I don't know all the technical names, I do know they've got some hemipenes. You can tell by the hemipenes, like the bulges, and yeah, you can tell the sex between the male and the female. So he is quite young still. When I got him, he was about as big as my thumb, obviously tail not included, like, you know, in the size, not like batteries not included. So he's grown substantially, and he is a very active eater. I've been feeding him mainly dusted crickets and we call them mealworms, superworms, and some actual proper formulated bearded dragon food. And because he is still a juvenile, he gets a juvenile style. And technically that by itself, as a diet, is enough. However, I do like to get the veggies and the natural meats into him, because I know what it is, I know what's in them, rather than the pellets. The pellets are good for when I go away and I need people to look after him. It's a lot easier to get him to throw some pellets in his feeding dish, and then they can kind of then I know, sorry, that he's healthy and fit to go. So I don't know if this is going to be a good shot. It's probably too bright. However, you can see there he's got his day lamp on. He doesn't really need it. I mean, you know, it does make the temperature sit at optimal, and that light bar, so not the red one, sorry, the white one, the light bar, that's his UVB, which obviously they do need. That's an extremely important feature in his enclosure setup. So I'll just quickly, while I've got the cage open, just gonna, because it is feeding day, happy just to tip that out, because I'm, you know, we'll pull him out, put him in his tub, and basically get a, I use it's like a fish net, the one that you scoop the actual fish and all that out of the tanks. I've got one of them, and I pick up all his sand, go through obviously methodically in his enclosure, and get all the, you know, bits of dry skin or poo or clumped sand from you know, urination out of his enclosure, so it's all clean. Wipe down the walls and all that, and fill up his water bowl. So he's pretty good with water. He does kick it out a lot, so that's why pretty much every day I've got to fill it. I am going to get like a deeper sort of dish, just because then he won't kind of splash it everywhere. But you know, as you can see, he's fighting fit. He is a little bit angry. He does kind of puff out and make his beard go black, as you can see. And they do have a little bit of a bite on them. So, but they are good animals. Alright, so just close these up. He does know it's feeding time, that's why he's getting a bit active, but yeah, so alright, we'll clean Predator's cage, the carpet / jungle python. As you can see, there is some poo and all that, and you can tell the paper towels have been wet. Obviously from them jumping in, you can never really estimate how much water to put in there. Sometimes it will go over and they will overflow when they put their entire body in there. But I'll quickly go through it, show you how it's done, and then obviously you can just do the same thing for each one of your enclosures, or if you've got the one, then just obviously stop there. So just go through them quickly. Sorry, the water python. Big enclosure, you know, for its size. It's got a few places to hide. You wouldn't think that she would fit in there, but she does quite easily. Uses this enclosure as well, and all that hide. Sorry, and then obviously the 2 water containers is plenty of water for her at the moment. Obviously, the bigger she gets, the more water she's going to have in there, just because she is a water python. So this is the big boy's enclosure. So he's obviously got a massive enclosure, massive bucket for his water. There's the carpet, the coastal, sorry. Small enclosure, obviously small snakes, so these will hide. The black-headed python, they do like burrowing, so I have put a substrate in there, which can burrow into, you know, it just feels a little bit safer for them and makes them a little bit more happier. Loves its water, powers through it, so I've got 2 in there as well. I mean, all of them have 2, however, most of these are just for in case I go away, then I know they've got water. Righto, I'll set you up next to this cage here, and then we'll go on to cleaning it. So once again, I am sorry about the, you know, if the camera work has been a bit shoddy, but doing this with a GoPro, with a clamp mount, just trying to find random bits of furniture around this room to clamp it to in the right angle is a lot more trickier than it sounds. So just grabbing some more paper towels at the moment, and then we'll go on with actually how we do this. So the bucket that I've used to defrost the food, all I'm going to do with this water, because I just change it out weekly, is grab that, tip it out into the bucket right next to me. It's just for ease, you don't have to walk in and out of the room all the time, especially when you got like I do. Well, this is a little dog that runs around there. You know, the more times you open the door, the more chance the little thing runs in here, and if it does, it may just antagonise the snakes a bit, especially the big one. Big one looks at it like it's food, so yeah, it's just easier to avoid it. So this one has a rock wall at the back. So all you do is you just find a place to pinch it, grab it, slide these back out, make sure obviously nothing's been pulled out behind that wall, because you don't want it to trap up there and, you know, decompose and all that. So grab that, obviously that's now waste. You stick that in your in your rubbish pile, sorry. You then, well, what I do is spray it with this disinfectant. So this is at Clean, I'm pretty sure. Yep, Clean. Spray it around. You obviously use chemicals that are designed for the reps. If you use other chemicals, you really need to be careful, because it could harm the snake. They are hardy creatures in a sense. However, if you use too many wrong chemicals or it's too potent, yeah, it can be very bad. So use it. Yeah, I should have had the fan going. It is a bit, it tickles the throat a little bit when you breathe, but that's alright. So just wiping around. Obviously, you apply a nice thick layer. So I do that, and obviously with the paper towel it's a lot easier to scrub and also pick up any loose bits of dry poo or wipe up the urine or anything like that. So then I'll grab the Durasa wipes, just as like a sort of a two-part system, and this is just to disinfect and make sure that there's nothing that I've left with the paper towel itself. So I'm happy to, you know, leave a little bit of a layer on there so it's a little bit damp. The walls, you know, you can do the walls, they don't look too bad. So the main thing is obviously the bottom, because that's where all the particulates and all that do drop. So, and then what I do is I grab my paper towels, measure out the length I need for it. So for me, the length of it, I normally make 3 strips of 2. Just quickly clear that. That's 2. That's 3. Alright, so that's my 3 strips. Oh, sorry, I was just checking the camera's still working. And then, recording, sorry. And then I grab 3 1 squares. Just because this is the only one with a rock wall, it is a bit annoying. But what you need to do is, just because it's just the wrong size for 3 long, so you make the 2 and the 1, just make it the exact length you need. Once again, pull this. And there we go. So just a bit of fidgeting, but I've done it that many times. Got it down to a fine art. So you do this, and then you just keep going like that. Hopefully you're getting good video here. There we go. It doesn't have to look pretty. Obviously, I'm going to switch to the AstroTurf. You know, a lot of people like it, a lot of people don't like it. Like, if you get two cuts of the same size, obviously per enclosure, it's good because you can, when you take one out to clean it, you put the other one straight in. Then it's all done. All you need to do is grab the you know, your actual items that are inside, give them a quick wipe just to disinfect, because obviously snakes aren't the most hygienic animals. They will poo on pretty much anything, so wherever they are when they need to go, they will go. So if you just give it a quick wipe with this, doesn't need to be detailed and all that, but you do that, give it a good scrub, quick wipe, sorry, and then you just, without breaking the plants. I mean, they're just for deco, obviously, the plants. The rough ornament that you saw, the first thing I cleaned, it does have a purpose, and that purpose is for something rough and abrasive for the snake to rub up against when it is shedding. It helps it just, you know, start the shed itself, and then it has something to grip onto, because like I said before, they don't have any hands or anything like that. So now what I would do is I would go to the bathroom or wherever, the laundry, fill up these containers, put them back in the corner, check on that particular snake. When that one's ready, put it back into an enclosure, lock it up, and that one's good to go. So and then you wait 24-48 hours because it has eaten, and then start handling from there. Like, you don't want to handle it straight after it's eaten. Obviously, to move it to its enclosure, that's fine. But apart from that, that's what you would do for each enclosure. With these animals, you've got to remember they do spend their entire life in there. So you need to clean their enclosure as best as you can, because it is quite unfair and cruel to the animal if you don't keep high standards of husbandry. So you know, you would like your house to be clean, so it's the same thing with them, and it saves you money in the long run as well. If you do keep it messy, I mean, they will get more diseases, need more vet treatments, or, you know, worst case scenario, you could lose one of your prize snakes. So, alright, well, thanks for watching. Hopefully you've learned something. Hopefully I didn't waffle on too long, and the camera, you know, work wasn't too bad. But yeah, thanks for watching. Feel free to like, subscribe, rate, comment, anything like that. I do look at everyone's feedback, and if you tell me like what videos you would like to watch, or what you'd like, you know, what you would like me to do next, I will take that on board. Or if you have any specific questions, I'll either make a very quick video and give you a shout out, whoever has asked for it, explaining your question. And if it's just a very simple question to answer, or very simple for me, like, don't take offence, I'll just quickly reply to your comment directly. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.